guys, my name is Claire and this is Claire Minded, and welcome to today's episode about Sattvic lifestyle through Ayurvedic practices. So in this video, I'm going to be explaining what Sattvic is, and then I'm going to be explaining how to live a Sattvic lifestyle through Ayurvedic practices. So going back to Sattva, or the Sattvic lifestyle, is being in balance with nature, it's living in your clearest state, and it's just kind of vibrating at your highest level, mentally, physically, and spiritually. So like, how do we get to live all the way in this like peaceful, content, blissful state, no drama, like happy, content? Like, how do we get there? How do we live this Sattvic lifestyle? And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to share these Ayurvedic practices to help get you to living that pure Sattvic lifestyle. And Sattva doesn't mean that you're like living in the monks, you're not like friends with anyone, and you're just kind of like meditating all day. Living a Sattvic lifestyle can be totally modern, and it can be just as like simply as these exercises that I'm going to give you and these lifestyle practices that you can incorporate to live your unique high vibrational frequency, your Sattva, your Sattvic life. So starting out is consuming the correct fuel. So Ayurveda starts and ends with food and herbs always. It's super important because the way we digest food is the way we digest our thoughts. It's the way we digest our energy and the vibrations that we get in from other sources. Digestion is everything. So you want to fuel yourself with quality, nourishing foods. So you want to be eating ojas increasing foods. These are going to be heavy, earthy, grounding, nourishing foods. Sweet potatoes, yams, avocado, figs, super nourishing grains like oats and quinoa, something like avocado oil, sesame oil, dark leafy greens. These are going to be pure Sattvic fuel. And if you want to check out more specifics, I have a positive pranic video that's going to give you all the Sattvic type of foods that are good for you to consume. The next Ayurvedic practice to live your Sattvic lifestyle is to live in harmony with the seasons and the time of day and nature, essentially. So you want to be in harmony with your surroundings. So seasonally, what that means is living accordance to the season. So Ayurvedically, we have each dosha is a certain time of year. Like summertime is pitta, it's just natural pitta energy. You're outside a lot, there's a lot of heat, you're more activity. And in the fall and the early winter, it's more that vata time. You know, everything is dying, the leaves are falling, it's getting cold, it's super windy, you have a lot more air happening that time of year. And then late winter and early spring, you have kapha time. And this is when everything, like you're in hibernation from the winter and like the spring is coming, so everything is kind of melting. It's just like very earthy, it's starting to get wet, and it's just kapha energy that is just like happening that time of year. So living in accordance with the seasons is going to promote a Sattvic lifestyle. So in the summertime, when you naturally have a lot of pitta energy and you have naturally a lot of fire, not only going outside around you, but within you, you're feeling that energy of the summertime. So a lot of activity is going on. So you want to bring balance to that activity by keeping yourself cool, like practicing yin yoga, cooling meditations, eating cooling herbs and foods, incorporating some cilantro, cumin, fennel, digestive aids that are more of a cooling effect. It's going to be super nourishing during the pitta time of year. However, when you move into the fall, when it's vata time, you have this excess amount of air that's just naturally happening around you. And so regardless of your dosha, you should really try to live in accordance with the season. So for the vata time of year, you want to be eating more nourishing foods. So, coming out of like pitta season, where you can consume a lot of like fresh foods and salads and tons of fruit because they're in season that time of year, so that makes sense to consume them. However, when you go into fall, you want to eat locally produced foods that are happening that time of year that are more nourishing. So a lot of apples are in the fall, so you want to cook those down in a little oil and some spices, and that's going to give you a more warming, nourishing effect. You want to eating more stews, more chilies, like earthy grains, pumpkin. That's what's in season this time of year. And that's ultimately what's going to help bring balance, because those types of foods have more earth and stability in them. So that's going to ground that extra air that you have going on just naturally in that season. And then when you move into the springtime, where it's more a kapha time of year, like everything is kind of melting down. So you're coming out of this hibernation where it's very like heavy and dense, which is natural. But as soon as Kapha season starts developing, like everything is melting. So you're like you want to cleanse your body. So a lot of like dark leafy greens are coming into season in the spring. Berries are right around the corner. So that's the time of year that you want to be eating a little bit lighter, because Kapha is so heavy, it's dense, it's earth and water. You want to be bringing in the balancing elements of eating more like light leafy greens, because this is going to help like pull your energy up. You're going to be wanting to do more like vinyasa yoga, something more energizing to wake you up. So it's a great time to get back on your like exercise program, because you want to be bringing more fitness, more energy into that heavy, dense Kapha energy that's happening in the springtime. It's just naturally part of the seasons. So living in accordance with the seasons, no matter what dosha you are, is living sattvically, is living a sattvic life. And then moving even beyond the seasons, Ayurvedic has a specific time of day that's kind of in relation to each dosha. So living in accordance not only with the seasons, but with the time of day will ultimately set you up for living a super sattvic lifestyle. So for example, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. are Kapha times of day. And then from 10 a.m. to 12 to 2 p.m. is that Pitta time. So this is like where you have the most fire naturally coming to you in that time of day. And then from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. is Vata time. So this is more of a lighter, creative time of day. And then it just recycles itself. So 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. is Kapha time. 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. is Pitta time. That's time, like sometimes you wake up in the middle of the night and you're like roaring hungry at like 12 or 1 a.m. and you're just like, why am I so hungry right now? It's because it's naturally the Pitta time. So your like internal fire is heating up. So living a sattvic lifestyle is super important to be living in accordance with the seasons and the time of day, regardless of what dosha you are. So another thing that's super important when you're living a sattvic lifestyle is to get the proper amount of sleep. Sleep is super important because that's where we rebuild all of our tissues, and where we kind of rebuild our strength and absorb everything properly is during our sleep. So you want to aim for at least 8 hours for proper sleep. Another Ayurvedic practice that you really want to incorporate when you're aiming to live a sattvic lifestyle is to be in service of others. Because when you're in service to others, it's putting that vibration out there that like, I am not selfish here and I'm trying to help people. I'm trying to spread good energy. That's a positive vibration that you're putting out that will ultimately come back to you. But if you're ever in like a dark place, or you're like in mental fuzz, you're in your own head, that happens to me all the time. The first thing that like I immediately do when I think of like, oh crap, I'm like stuck in my head again, I'm like, be of service to others. This will immediately jump you out of that low vibration and immediately put you into a higher vibration, because you're putting yourself out there and you're dedicating yourself to someone else. So I immediately pick up my phone, I text a friend or I call a friend. I'm like, hey, how are you? What do you need? How can I help you in this moment right now? I go around the block, I go for a walk, I see, does anyone need help? Does anyone, is there someone like picking up trash that I can go help and do that? Does my friend need help moving? Do I see someone struggling with bags or something? Like, how can I be in service of others? When you're putting out that positive vibration, it is just super electrifying, and it will nourish you in ways that you can't even imagine until you do it yourself. Another thing you want to do when living a sattvic lifestyle is to be honest. Honesty is a high vibe type of attitude. You want to be honest, you want to have this positive attitude, you want to bring joy to every situation, and sometimes like when it's not there naturally, you have to create it. You have the power to create any type of energy that you want to, as long as you believe, feel, and then do. Action moves words. So instead of like saying like, hyping myself up in the mirror, like positive affirmations, like I love you, you got this, you got this. I literally have to force myself out of bed, go for a run. You have to like shock your body, shock your mind, immediately flip to something else. Go for a run and like just start dancing. Smile at everyone, be super obnoxious about it, because when you are forcing smiles, it may feel so unnatural at the beginning, especially if you're like not feeling the day. But the more you smile, the more other people will smile back at you. And the more other people smile back at you, the more you'll be wanting to smile to them, because that's that human connection. You want to match what is being put out there. And if you're putting out smiles, you're going to get back smiles, and then that's going to make you want to put out more smiles. So building off of that, you want to avoid any negativity, any judgment, any criticism. And if you find yourself in a situation where you have people or friends talking about other people or like complaining about a situation at home and it's not serving you or that person, there's two ways you could go. You could immediately kind of like listen to your friend, pause for a moment, and then offer a positive outlook. Or if it's just like being dumped on you, all this negativity, this judgment, remove yourself from the situation. Be like, I hear what you're saying, you know, I don't want to be a part of this right now, so I'm gonna go over here and do this. I appreciate what you have, but like I just don't feel that this energy is serving me, so I'm gonna go serve myself over here. Setting those boundaries is super important for you in every situation that you are, because if you're living a Sattvic lifestyle, you have to set those boundaries of what is going to be serving your best interest. And your best interest is having good positive attitudes, having supportive people around you. It's living with honesty and like living in the present moment of just being who you are, fully, naturally, high vibing, loving self. Finding movement is super important living sattvically in your lifestyle practice. Ayurveda speaks to yoga and meditation very heavily. It's just super important. It nourishes your mind, body, and soul, so it's very, very healthy for living a sattvic lifestyle. It is just like, yoga changed my life. But also finding movement in other ways, whether it's like dance, getting creative, going rock climbing, or like kickboxing or a self-defense class. It literally can be anything that is of interest to you, but finding that movement in something that you enjoy. It could be weightlifting, it could be running, it could be biking, it could be rollerblading, anything that kind of brings you happiness in, and it serves your like function of your body, which ultimately serves the function of your inner body, is super important. You want to live mindfully and in the present moment. So when you're thinking of the future or your mind is stuck in the past, you're not present. You either have worry about the past or you're like anxious about the future. You're not in the present moment. And when you're living fully in the present moment, you're content, you're joyful, and you're at peace. And that is the Sattvic way. Having some form of spirituality is important for a Sattvic lifestyle too. And this doesn't mean it has to be any specific type of religion or any like woo-woo science or like magic or anything like that. Spirituality can mean whatever it wants to for you. So however you define your spirituality, you need to have some sense of connection to something greater than yourself. And that is the bottom line, spiritual. Connecting with nature is super important too. Especially in like these super urban areas that we live in. It's very dense, and like, yes, they have some nice parks and everything too. Use those parks. So you need to step outside in nature. You need to like take your shoes off, feel the grass, feel the dirt, especially when your head is in the clouds. You want to come back to the Sattvic lifestyle, and that is going earthing or grounding yourself in nature. Just go laying in the grass, like smell some trees, go give like a flower a hug or something, and you just need to step outside in nature. And quickly jumping back to the fuel that you're consuming, you want to be consuming high ojas, increasing foods, but you also want to be incorporating all the 6 tastes. So in Ayurveda, the biggest thing is no matter what dosha you are, you need all 6 tastes. And depending on which dosha you are, you can break it down of which you kind of need more of that will be more balancing, but consuming all 6 tastes. So you want sweet, sour, salty, bitter, pungent, and astringent, all in different forms, in different ways. However you can incorporate it is going to be super nourishing and very sattvic life. And to end it all, you want to aim to try and go to bed by 10 p.m. or, you know, start to like cool down as the sun goes down. We live in accordance with nature as best we can in a sattvic lifestyle. So as soon as the sun goes down, that's time to put away the screens, really calm down, grab a book, grab some colored pencils, some artwork, and this is like some creative like cool down time, and then hop in bed, hopefully by 10 p.m. with a little triphala tea to help nourish you into the best night of sleep ever and dreamland peacefully. So these were some great Ayurvedic practices that you can incorporate into your life to live a more sattvic lifestyle. If you guys have any questions, I have a couple other videos explaining some other juicy stuff about pranas, tejas, ojas, and the 3 gunas. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Hit the like button and subscribe to my channel, tell your friends, and I'll be here.